Hello, I'd like to take you on a journey over terrain that some of you know well. However, others will discover new routes to navigating 3 key skills every ESC consultant must master: roles, relationships, and inquiry. We will travel this journey together so that you can experience some of the biggest obstacles ESC consultants encounter. They include 1. Underestimating the client and encouraging dependency. 2. Stereotyping. 3. Meeting defensiveness with more pressure. 4. Jumping to the solution and dispensing answers prematurely. 5. Not demonstrating cultural competence. Obstacle 1. Underestimating the client and encouraging dependency. This is an obstacle that you all may encounter as you navigate relationships with the client. It might sound like this.
Of course, we don't expect you or your staff to be able to answer many of our questions or have most of the information we need. Do not worry, we can pull all of the facts together and organize the information for you. We are prepared to do a full environmental scan of your organization. You do not need to do anything.
Obstacle number 2, stereotyping. This can cause us to hit roadblocks and delay the consulting process. This is how it can sound.
We had another client just like you, and we found that the problem was the seniority of the board. We've seen this situation before. Don't worry, we can handle this.
Obstacle 3, meeting resistance or defensiveness with more pressure can lead to wrong twists and turns, especially if it causes the client to feel guilty or inferior or stop sharing information. Here is an example.
I see that you may want more time to get comfortable with us before you trust us enough to share all of the information that we need. But the longer you wait, the worse your problem is going to become. And didn't you say that you really can't afford to lose any more board members?
Obstacle 4, jumping to the solution and dispensing answers prematurely. This is a common trap consultants fall into. Navigate around this obstacle with caution and care. Here is an example of what it sounds like.
We have the perfect solution for you. When working with another client with the same problem, we recommended to the board that they meet with the executive director and come to agreement on the top 3 priorities for the next 2 years. This approach was very successful. And as we begin to work with key stakeholders, we think you'll see the benefit of doing it this way.
Obstacle 5, cultural competence, cultural sensitivity, and cultural humility represent skills, knowledge, and abilities that belong in each ESC consultant's toolkit. There are many ways to stumble and fall when encountering clients and key stakeholders. Here's an example of labeling groups which ESC teams must be sensitive to in today's world.
Well, team, does ESC have any consultants who are African American or Latino, Hispanic or Latinx? And by the way, who knows what words we should be using today for all these different groups of people? I can't keep up.
So how do we overcome these obstacles? We do it by learning how to serve in these various roles depending on the situation, as either a process consultant, an expert resource, a diagnostician, a motivator, by building trusting, win-win relationships, and by mastering the art of humble inquiry. So welcome to our introductory journey on consulting skills, roles, relationships, and humble inquiry.
This video has 3 major scenes: roles, relationships, and inquiries. You'll be asked to stop the video at the end of each section and respond to a question or situation. You will need to pause or stop the video, click in the space provided, and type in your responses. You'll be taken to another screen to write your responses. Come back to the video when you're finished and continue the session. As a process consultant, we recommend the scope of the project to the client and serve as guides throughout the process. For example, in consultation with the client, we help to establish a project team and create a work plan. If it's a strategic planning project, the approach may include an environmental scan that includes interviews with stakeholders. You may say something like, "You indicated that your finance and HR person should be on this project. Do you think that one or two of your department leaders should be involved?"
In our role as consultant or resource, we pull from our body of knowledge. We've managed projects, organizational and board operations, and helped to drive optimal performance. And though we are subject matter experts, sometimes we call on additional professionals with the required expertise to advise and consult. For example, we had an all-white project team working with an African American Episcopal church in Boston. The team recognized a diversity gap and brought in a person of color who's an expert in cultural diversity to help guide the team through challenges of building trust, understanding cultural norms, and building relationships.
As a diagnostician, we diagnose problems within an organization. Is it a leadership, monetary, or conflict issue? We prescribe solutions, such as training for the board or a new strategic plan. Recommendations to the client take a lot of thought and care. They are necessary, maybe distasteful like some medicines, but they can lead to a healthier organization. Here's an example that comes to mind. We discovered one area that came up consistently across all key stakeholders, and that is the leadership team seems to be giving different and conflicting messages about the organization's direction.
Sometimes client leadership may get discouraged and feel that their problems are insurmountable. We can share examples of other clients who faced similar challenges and overcame them. We also need to remind the client of the positive things about their organization. We all need encouragement, and as a motivator, you will find the right time and opportunity to provide it. For example, I know that the information that has come into you since we started this project seems overwhelming and that there are so many areas to address. We will help you to identify where to begin and to develop a strong plan of action to move forward. You will find, as this process proceeds, and we solve some of the key problems, some of the other problems will just disappear.
You have seen and heard about 4 roles we play as ESC consultants. Sometimes the roles overlap. You should expect to change your role as you go through an entire project. Let's do a road test.
Listen to and read the situation and questions below. Please write down your thoughts and responses. Imagine that you've completed an assessment visit and met with your ESC teammates to discuss next steps with the client. When you meet with the client, ready to discuss how to proceed, you find out that a key member of the board has resigned and the board is in turmoil. What role will you carry out immediately? What approaches will you take to help get the board back on track? Stop the video.
Now that you have had an opportunity to think about how you would respond to the situation, please keep this scenario in mind for when you join the Consulting Skills course and other onboarding courses. You will explore many ways in which you will need to navigate and change roles while working with your clients and with other ESC team members.
Now let's talk about relationships with clients. Tony, what's been your experience?
I find it's really important to build a good rapport with the client first. You know, taking the time to make those personal connections ends up being really critical to building trust and a shared sense of purpose.
It's a great point. You know, clients may have some reservations about working with us, but There are a few ways that we can help them overcome those fears.
So true. It's really important to frame things in terms of we, to help establish trust and mutual expectations. When we think about things in terms of us and them and you, it can be kind of detrimental to our relationship with clients. Do you have any other helpful relationship tips?
Sure. It's good to express commitment to the project as well as to support for the client's mission. Saying something like, ESC will partner with you every step of the way until we achieve the results that we agreed upon. Do you have any other keys, Tony?
I think the key words are patience and sensitivity. And we always try not to overwhelm the client and to remember that, a slow yes is better than a fast no. I like to make sure everybody feels like we're all on the same page and that the objectives are really clear.
Connecting with all the different levels of an organization helps us to understand individual and collective roles. Sometimes you have to switch between being a diagnostician and a motivator.
Yes, and being an active listener at all stages so we can learn about the client's concerns, hopes, and expectations. That listen and understand. For example, we hear your concern about how the board and staff are going to work together in the future, and we understand that having a strong board-staff relationship is really critical to your success. Hey, Andrew, I bet my relationship skills are better than yours.
No way, Tony. Listen to and read the situation and questions below. Please write down your thoughts and responses. Describe your best experience in building a strong relationship with another individual, group, or client. Be specific and try to explain exactly what you said and did. Stop the video.
The final skill to navigate is humble inquiry, which is the fine art of building a relationship based on curiosity and interest in the other person. It's an essential art to collaboration, culture, change, and leadership. Here's some questions for you. How will you learn about the client organization? What does the client know that you do not know? How will you question different parts of the organization without being biased by information that's already been provided to you? Here's a scenario that happens to us quite often and causes us to draw on the art of humble inquiry.
Listen to and read the situation and questions below. Situation. You and your team are going to a client organization, and the executive director has already told the team lead that 2 members of the board and 3 staff members are hostile and do not support the direction she wants to take the organization. You're going to meet with each one of these people over the course of the day. Write your answers to the questions below. What questions would you ask the board member that will create a climate of openness and get them to be open and honest with you? What question would you ask each staff member that lets them know that it is safe for them to share their thoughts and opinions with the organization? How will you prevent yourself from acting on data which could be incorrect? Assume that you have a meeting with the board chair and you have yet to get input from the others. Stop the video.
We've reached the end of our journey for this trip. We hope you gained some good insight into how ESC views roles, relationships, and inquiry when working with our clients and with other members of the ESC team.
Listen to and read the question below. Type your response in the space provided. Self-reflection question. Think about your personal style, communication preferences, and how you like to interact with others. Given the importance of adopting the right role at the right time, building trusting relationships, and asking questions in a way that will draw people out, what specific area, role, relationships, inquiry, do you wish to develop further, and why? Stop the video.
I look forward to serving as your guide as you begin your journey as an ESC consultant. You will interact with me when it's time to staff a project, to discuss a challenge you may have with a client, or when you may need additional resources. Think of me as your navigator and conductor. Let's create excellent experiences for our clients and for each other throughout New England.